It is 1 in the morning. You feel exhausted from a hard day of nothing as you mindlessly scroll through your phone to watch something that you've already seen 5 times. Your mind is blank. Your sole purpose is to consume, to be a cog in the digital machine, until one video breaks you free from your miserable mental toil. This one. In this digital world, companies are constantly vying for your attention and trying to keep you on their site. They do not need to be liked, they just need to have power. I'm going to focus on 3 algorithms, Netflix's, YouTube's, and Steam's, in the hopes of shedding some light on what controls what we are watching and interacting with. Because I would argue, for all their bells and whistles, these algorithms honestly fall short on recommending quality and engaging content. Netflix definitely has the most known data points, which makes sense. Netflix is the most selective out of these groups for what they allow on their platform, so the increased amount of data would be more applicable and helpful. I don't know how YouTube would be able to use the pausing, rewinding, and fast-forwarding of content to recommend a specific video. Additionally, Netflix shows and movies are typically a larger commitment than a video off of YouTube, so it is important that it does not feel like they are wasting your time. And apparently it's working, as according to Lighthouse Labs, over 75% of activity can be traced down to these personal recommendations, thus feeding that loop that keeps you brain dead and content. Apathy, a Netflix original. This is not to trivialize any individual piece of content on Netflix, but rather to highlight the constant stream that it provides. I do need to applaud this, because I can go on Netflix and consistently find something that is entertaining enough with very little hassle, which is not necessarily true for the other platforms. However, Netflix is allowed to be a bit more tailored, because no matter how infinite its amount of shows and movies may seem, its curated library will never reach the sheer quantity of YouTube. YouTube is a bit of a trickier topic because of how volatile the algorithm really is, and that's intentional as not to make it feel stagnant. Originally they were optimizing for clicks and views, and then that developed into prioritizing watch time, then for user happiness and satisfaction, and then they kinda just took the idea of satisfaction and threw it out the window. It turns out, controversy and bland copy and paste content that can be pumped out at a rapid pace keeps people watching YouTube. More specifically, it keeps the children lying about being above 13 on YouTube. That's why it's a bit hard to measure how the YouTube algorithm measures age demographics. You can say that there are no young children on YouTube, but then it would be pretty hard to explain the bulk of the trending page. So that's why there's a large amount of borderline predatory YouTubers pumping out long videos filled with nothing. I'm gonna blow your mind when I say that this video does not need to be 8 minutes long, or even exist in the first place. However, for us macho, sick nasty adults, things are a little less two-dimensional. This graph was put out by YouTube in 2016, simplifying how their algorithm works, and how it tunnels the endless sea of videos to just ones you might find interesting. And while it might be a bit outdated in today's increasingly competitive marketplace, the basic principles still hold up. It's going to funnel your results to show you what it thinks is best. And this holds up the other way around as well. While I'm not exactly a reliable source on being internet famous, I can say that YouTube highly prioritizes the keywords and tags of any individual video. There's a reason why my Donkey and the Mori videos have significantly more views than the rest. They keep being recommended to Donkey and the Mori fans because they watch a lot of content related to Donkey and the Mori. Real quick, let's take a look at my channel analytics for when my videos are recommended. Notice how every video is related to either Donkey or a Mori. YouTube knows that if you keep providing Donkey and the Mori fans content about Donkey and the Mori, then they will stay on YouTube. While this may be fine for fun little interests, it gets a little more problematic when it comes to world issues and political beliefs, because someone buying into crackpot conspiracy theories will just be fed the same garbage instead of being recommended videos that broaden their horizons. Steam is a bit of an interesting case when it comes to this discussion. Games are typically a longer commitment than movies or videos, and it's not as important that you spend time on Steam, but rather that you have a certain amount of loyalty to Steam. This is why Steam has a ton of sales and features to keep people coming back, but their algorithm is fairly lackluster. Ratings do not affect how much a game will be featured unless it has below a mixed score, and anyone that has used Steam for more than 3 seconds know that getting below a mixed score is virtually impossible. It does track sales surges, similar to how YouTube and Netflix will feature what's popular. However, unlike YouTube and Netflix, clicks are not factored into the equation. The only noticeable personalization that happens with the Steam algorithm is through whatever tags are on the games you play, which pretty much boils down to, hey, you like shooting game? Then you also may like shooting game. It doesn't even seem to track your overall tendencies or try to combine genres or games to try and find out what you would like. It just really focuses on whatever is here. The shallowness of this system becomes especially apparent once you go to the Discover page. For those of you not familiar with the Discover page, it gives you a nice stream of games that you might like. The thing is, it becomes especially apparent how singular the criteria is, and why each game is recommended. I'm not the only one who feels this way. Others have been able to distinguish why certain games get recommended. The Netflix and YouTube algorithms may have their own faults, but they always feel like multiple factors go into each recommendation, and the same cannot be said for Steam. If you ever want to kill some time doing nothing, repeatedly continue the Steam discovery queue until it's exhausted all of its categories and just gives you something from the bottom of the barrel like Fat Baby. Thank you, Steam, for this amazing recommendation. Ultimately, these algorithms are all infinitely more complicated than any of us could even imagine, and these oversimplified examples I've been giving have only been scratching the surface. However, it is important to have at least a rudimentary grasp on what these algorithms are doing, because it controls what we interact with, and in certain cases that may not be a good thing. Yes, YouTube at times may give the Paul brothers a slap on the wrist, but they are still making a good amount of money off them. And even stepping away from the moral side, I feel like we still have a ways to go. These algorithms should be making things more convenient, and yeah, I cannot tell you how many times I'm scrolling through my phone looking for something to watch while I eat. Additionally, they are very content to only give you what you want, which I would argue is a negative thing. If you stick to your individual niche, then you could miss out on some of the greatest works of art out there, and I often have to go intentionally looking for them. I shouldn't need to do that. The algorithm should have my back there. These algorithms are impressive, but I can't help but think that we can do more.